Okay.
Hi, please have a seat.
Uh-huh.
I hope you don't mind me videotaping this. I think I'm allowed by law.
Okay. What is it you'd like to...
A few things. First of all, I just want to verify, what is your name and function?
Sergeant Mark Mallet. I'm the Assistant Commander of the Civil Division here at Sheriff's Department.
Okay, wonderful. First of all, you're in agreement that there is no law that says I cannot videotape?
Well, only if I agree to it.
In a public building, a public officer, only if they agree to it?
Okay,
is
what
that
is
your
it that you're
representation?
asking me?
No,
Okay.
I'm asking you the question to answer.
Okay. Well, I'm protesting you videotaping me because I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
All right?
You are protesting, but it's not against the law.
Not that I'm aware of.
Thank you. That was the clarification
Okay.
I needed. Okay.
Right.
Now, on 8/15, I walked over to the Department of Public Health with a San Francisco police officer on civil standby because I'd been continually denied public health care,
Okay.
an escalation of that matter.
Uh-huh.
When I got there was a sheriff's deputy waiting,
Okay.
an officer, I cannot pronounce that name,
Mosquito or
Mesquita,
Looks
badge
Mosquito.
1181118.
Looks like 8118.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, from the sheriff's department.
Okay, from the sheriff's
And my
department.
police officer, can't pronounce that last name,
Valiano.
and that's his badge number.
Okay.
All right, so we got there,
All right.
and after much going around, and I have a copy of the videotape, I was told that there was a restraining order
Against you.
to stay, they called it a stay-away order
Okay. All right.
from the Department of Public Health, is what I'm assuming, because they went up and got this and came back down, and they showed it to me, and I took a copy of it.
Okay.
And I asked your officer and the San Francisco police officer, what happens if this is bogus, illegal? What if it's not real? At that
Okay.
point,
All right.
you know, your officer told me I could go down to the DA and that, you know, I could check, you know, with the judge and, you know, bring up the issues because I said, I've never received this stay-away order. How could I have protected myself or given the judge my point of view or whatever? Those questions were never addressed. I also asked this officer if it was illegal to videotape, your officer. He never answered the question. He constantly misdirected. All right, moving forward.
Okay.
The police officer, the San Francisco police officer, told me to go down to 400 McAllister and check with the clerk to see if there was a stay-away order or a restraining order, and that it was valid because it had to be valid because it was there, and that a judge had to sign it, and that, of course, that was what he was informed by the Department of Public Health. I went down to 400 McAllister. Here's the paperwork. No such order. I went to the DA's office. No such order. Now, what they showed me, obviously, was not a restraining order
Okay.
or anything like that. So my very first question is, who trains your officers? Because apparently, when I said, you know, what if this is bogus, nobody seemed to follow up or pick up on that. And mind you, this was a civil standby to ensure that my rights to legal and to medical care were not being evaded. Now, since I was denied access to this public building because I was told I would be arrested if I set foot in this public building as an ADA person with disabilities, I was denied access and accommodation into a public building for my public services and everything else. So, you know, the law was broken. I have been denied my civil rights, my human rights, my medical rights. Oh, and by the way, since the San Francisco police officer was there as civil standby, I apparently was denied my legal rights to have the other side arrested if they were breaking the law, because was this not a valid stay-away order? So do you understand the conundrum that it not only left me in trying to receive service? Oh, I want to complain. I want to follow up.
Okay.
I want an investigation. Oh, and I would like for you to check your records to see if there is a stay-away order that somehow I've missed, you know.
What's your name, sir? I'm sorry?
Well, your officer to start with.
No, what's your name?
My name is Jason Grant Garza.
Jason Grant Garza?
It's right here.
All right. Jason Grant Garza.
Yeah, Jason. Well, he just looked up Jason Garza, I guess, but
Okay,
this one
all
says Jason Grant Garza. That was the one I got
Jason
from.
Grant Garza.
Okay, now, unfortunately, you know, there's some
So
questions.
the purpose of you coming here today is to
Accountability.
to make a complaint, though,
And
specifically.
accountability.
And accountability.
Because
okay.
you can often make a complaint and it ends up being risk managed as opposed to people's legal rights being
Okay.
thoroughly.
So I can help you with specifics in terms I can't speak for the department, I can't speak for the officer, obviously. But what I can help
Well,
you
can I
with,
ask you another? Please go ahead. I'm sorry.
if you want to lodge a complaint, I can direct you to the appropriate unit that handles complaints for the sheriff's department.
Okay. Well, I also would
Okay.
like to know,
But I
who
can't answer
trains your
questions.
people under
I
ADA?
can't. You'd have to talk to administration for the
I would
sheriff's
have to
department.
talk to administration.
Correct. Right. I can't speak for the department.
Okay,
in those
now the
regards.
other question remains, you're going to go to
Right.
check to see if there is a stay away order that somehow has fallen through the cracks, so that, we
I
can
can
verify
check and see
now.
if we've served you.
Well, that was a good thing. Oh, and also, the attitude of your officer,
Okay.
just
And
so
again,
that it's on film,
right.
was the fact that when I questioned him about the stay away order, which was supposedly dated 1/18/2012,
Okay.
I said, well, I've never received notice of this, or anything else. And I have it on video. He said, well, you've been notified now. And I said, well, excuse me, if I wasn't notified then, and I didn't have my right to due process to defend myself if it's an invalid stay away order, how can it be valid now? Apparently your officer didn't know how to answer that question either. Now, the problem that I'm truly having is that where was my advocacy throughout this entire process with me asking the right questions? Are your people not trained properly? I really do not understand, because I did ask all the right questions. I did point out everything correctly. And I have done all the follow-up. And I'm still sitting here, having been denied my legal rights, my ADA rights to this public building. It happened 2 days ago. That can never be changed. The law has been broken. Now, the part that really hurts is, how often do you guys get away with this? Because the San Francisco Police Department is under the OCC, but you guys are not. And you guys are the ones that are, contracted out through DPH to circumvent the law and other people's rights to even investigate. Because if this doesn't go to the OCC, who's to say you're just not going to cover up over this with other risk management?
Well, let's start with first things first. Is that you're making a complaint, right?
Yes, and I'm demanding an investigation, and not a
Right.
perfunctory one or a preliminary
So
one.
I'll go ahead and refer you to the appropriate unit in our department that can conduct that
Okay.
investigation.
Now,
But first, it has to start with the complaint.
No, I agree. But
So,
I agree. Now, I
as
have
far
one
as
other.
answering all these questions.
I have
can't
one
do
other
that.
quick question, though.
Okay, go
Or
ahead.
actually, just a statement that I would like to make. In August of 2011, I went to Tom Liddell and was denied services, and
Again, those are all things that have to be investigated.
that
Those are
I
all the
came in to
allegations.
file a complaint against Officer Williams, who didn't inform me, who told me I couldn't videotape and had me escorted out. And I did make a complaint to Timothy. It's all here, and so I want to follow up on that
And
to
that's-
prove that it's all interwoven to fail. Thank you. I will wait till you come back and I will
Okay,
start the
that will-
complaint process. But I just wanted to inform you that this has happened before. This is not a first time.
Okay, have you made a complaint with our department before?
I tried, and that was circumvented, and I have the paperwork to that extent.
Okay.
And that's the reason I'm continually bringing this up, for the full facts.
Okay.
The sheriff's phone number? Yes.
I have a lot in my mind that I have to
Sheriff's
keep
phone, civil units that we got.
trying to point out. I don't know. Yeah, well, that's in the video. Well, that's on the video, how I was rudely treated, but that will come out in the complaint. And like I said, if we're to go by what they've done in the past, the complaint will go nowhere because there is no accountability, and that is the ultimate result that they want. Well, if I didn't have to be accountable, well, I don't know. I'd probably love it. That feeling of power, that abuse of nature, I would love it probably if I was a person like that. I don't know. For me personally, injustice is a hard thing for me to swallow, regardless of who's dispensing it. Under the color of blue or whatever the Oh, more paperwork. This is the whole point. They always give you paperwork so that you get exhausted and don't go forward.
Okay. All right, so this is the San Francisco Sheriff's Department Investigative Services Unit.
Okay?
They're located at 25 NS.
Thank you.
Which is, you know,
Oh, I know
like
where it is.
two blocks.
Yeah.
Suite 350. There's a number there.
Okay.
Basically, when you get to the door, you want to ring the buzzer on the door.
And they buzz you up to the 7th floor or whatever, probably.
No. Once you get to the 3rd floor.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you take the
Okay.
elevator to the 3rd floor. Go ahead and buzz the door. A deputy will come there and then let them know that you want to make a complaint against a sheriff's department employee.
Not only the employee, the methodology, the fact that,
Okay.
I've tried
Yeah.
to file other complaints and have been deterred from it because of bad process that's
I
unaccountable.
would recommend that you ask to speak to a supervisor.
Oh,
Okay?
of course.
Okay.
Of course, of
right.
course, of course. So now, in the meantime,
Okay.
did you find out whether there's
No,
anything?
I'm sorry.
Because,
Can you get your name again?
does that mean that I can go to the Department of Public Health today and get services? Or does that mean, what does this mean?
Well, let me see what we have.
You understand why I'm asking the question, though?
Right, exactly.
Because here I've been trying to get services for a long time.
Okay.
And if the paperwork was rigged against me, well, and it still is, just put it right there on there.
Okay, let me see what I can find out.
No problem.
Okay.
It's on. It's on the tape. It doesn't matter. I'll play this and download it before I even go over there. I'm not going there today.
The plaintiff is American General Financial.
Did you notice?
You may want to start with that.
I will.